Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hi, I'm Jason, with Jason Pollock. I am not Jason. Join Jason and Justin back in the green room as they talk with some of their favorite folks from the entertainment industry. And now, the man you haven't been waiting for, Jason Pollock!
Hi, Justin.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
Thank you for everyone for tuning into Hi, I'm Jason. And why is it called Hi, I'm Jason? Because nobody knows me until now. That's why. So, hi, I'm Jason. Now you know me. Now you might give a shit about anything I have to say. And Justin, you didn't give me a chance to introduce you because you're already here with this little guy next to me in this little box. That's my musical accompanist, my abbot to my cello. That's my peanut butter to my jelly, my band leader, my proctologist, my nail clipper, my urologist. You do it all, Justin.
I'm just the
Justin
ologist.
Gonzalez. Justin
Hello,
Gonzalez, my
hello.
producer as well. Extraordinaire. You can make me smaller. I don't want to do that to all these people who are watching and actually have to see me so fucking big. It's terrible.
Well, I figured, maybe have you actually start off the show as the host, and have you nice in the spotlight. I was doing a thing.
I get it. I totally get it. I appreciate that. Anyway, we have an amazing guest today.
Yes.
She's one of the guests, she's the kind of guest that we started to do this show for. Because I'm so excited to talk to her. We're going to bring her right out. Are you ready? I'm going to introduce her.
No, we're
now.
not.
No, we're not.
You always jump the gun on this. Because
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We still love you for it, but that's why I'm the producer. And and I would just love to let people know about, of course, how they should be checking us out. Hello, Margarita. Thank you so much for popping in to say hi. This is going to be a really fun show. I hope that you stick around. Just so you folks that are watching on Facebook know that we're only going to be on here for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to have our full in-depth interview and conversation only on Twitch. So please pop on over to Twitch.
30 minutes?
Our whole thing is going to
be... It's going to be like 5 minutes.
No, because I want to actually talk with our guest, talk about her book, and really get people to know what her whole thing is about. But we're not going to share everything on Facebook. You have to come over to Twitch for all the behind the scenes stuff. Like, say for instance, our Saturday show. Saturday mornings with
How long are we doing this for? Kitsie, are you available till Saturday?
Oh my goodness, this is why we can't have nice things, Jason. But anyway, if you're watching on Facebook, please pop on over to twitch.tv/HIJ podcast. Twitch is totally free to sign up for, and there's so many wonderful things to check out on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, feel free to pop on over to facebook.com/Jason and Justin. That's our kind of landing platform. That's where we kind of disseminate all of this information. So if you are a fan of our Facebook page earlier today, you would know who our guest is. If you're just popping in on Twitch, surprise, surprise, we're going to get to that in just a second. If you want to see some of our finished episodes, pop on over to youtube.com/user/superjpo711. And of course, please do us a big favor and on Twitch, follow our parent channel, Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling, where you can see Jason and I on a couple of other shows that they produce. Again, Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. Of course, you'll see us, Hi, I'm Jason, tonight on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. We are on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. We are also on a little show that runs on Sundays called The Beacon of Insignificance. We get to hang out with some of our favorite comedy people. We play games, and you guys at home even have a chance to go home with some money. But again, you wouldn't know any of that unless you're on Twitch, our Facebook friends. So please pop on over if you're catching this live or as a rebroadcast, which you can do on both Facebook and Twitch now that Hi, I'm Jason is officially affiliate. So be sure to check that out. Subscribe today to get the emoticons and all of that. And before we switch over to show mode, I also would like to promote a very special thing that Jason and I are both going to be a part of this Saturday.
Oh, crap. I forgot.
Live from my mama's house. This is
That's my last name is spelled wrong there, but we're gonna let that slide because she's a wonderful person.
if that's the word. Did I ever tell you about the time that I showed up to a show and I saw on the list of entertainers, like for the crowd to see, in my time slot was Jason Rodriguez. And I said, "Who's Jason Rodriguez?" They go, "Oh, stop joking, Jason." I said, "Oh, no, no, no. My name's Justin Gonzalez." They're like, "Yeah, it was a J name and something Hispanic-y. I don't know."
That's not racist. That's good.
I'm Hispanic, so it's cool.
So yeah.
But anyway, this Saturday, again, free comedy show. So please be sure to check this out. And in fact, in the comments, I'm going to actually drop the link to the Eventbrite so that way you all can find out about that. And we'll talk about that again a little bit later. Just again, this is something that Jason and I will both be a part of. And so if you want more of Jason and Justin, you've got it this Saturday, my friends. Okay, that's all I have, Jason.
Now, our wonderful guest who's been so patiently waiting while we do shameless self-promotion. She's a multi-talented woman. She is a paranormal investigator, a scream queen, and she was the host of a show on Amazon Prime called Oddity Files. And now she's an author. I'm so excited to bring her out and get started talking to her. Please welcome, sorry for the lack of studio audience, but please welcome Kitsie Duncan.
Hey guys, I'm clapping
Hi,
for
Kit.
myself because that's what I do.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh, it's a delight. So this is a relatively new book.
It is. It came out on Friday the 13th, November 2019. No, 2020. Sorry. God, I keep skipping over the year 2020 when I'm talking to people.
I wonder why. I get it.
Yeah. So that was my pandemic project. I decided to write a book about my paranormal adventures, and how I got into it. Some of the most prolific, let's say, I'm gonna put that word out there, prolific investigations that I've ever been on. I don't know if it's the appropriate word or not. Please, nobody pull out the dictionary.
There's a lot of history in here. You told a little bit about the history about each house, like you do in the show.
Yeah. Our show, Oddity Files, on Amazon Prime and now YouTube under Oddity Files Crew. We didn't focus a lot on the history. We'd go in just like your average everyday paranormal investigator that rents a location out with a bunch of their friends or their paranormal group and things like that. And we just go in one night and get it done. There literally was no production crew following us around. You Ghost Adventures fans will get that reference, but it was us. It was three of us. It was my son, a family friend named Clayton Abbott, and we figured out that we got results. We got the evidence that people wanted to see. So 3 seasons later, here we are. And writing this book was so... sadly, it ended up being closure to the Oddity Files crew as well, because we've all moved on because of the pandemic. Thanks. But it taught me that it's kind of got a story within the story of you have to treat these ghosts like you want to be treated if you want the results that the people are looking for.
Just like people.
I mean, exactly. I wish. Oh, just spilled my water everywhere.
Because they were people.
Oh, no.
You know.
Exactly.
That was actually something that I wrote down because I have my little notepad that I always carry with me, you know, as I'm preparing for our shows. And the very first thing that I wrote on the top of my first page was love, light, peace, positivity. And I love that's that's a mantra that you guys say when you're, you know, just introducing yourselves to the space, is that we're here in love, light, peace, and positivity, and we are only going to speak to spirits that are in the same, you know, way of thinking. You cannot come with us or our equipment, because I love, like, right out the gate, we realize that spirits can imprint on your equipment. So, spoiler for those of you that need to run and watch this show on Amazon Prime or YouTube. But I mean, just so neat about all of this. And I had a specific question though. I'm sorry again. I'm so excited to talk to you. So,
Okay.
so you yourself, because I notice in all of these episodes, I don't think you ever talk about it at length in any, at least in any of the episodes that I'm recalling right now as I binged it over like the last 48 plus hours. I don't recall you ever saying whether or not you are a medium or if you are a psychic empath, or what do you consider yourself as far as a part of the paranormal investigation team?
Well, if you buy my book, I'd rather talk to dead people. I do jump into that at length and how
Great title.
my husband actually came up with that. I was struggling. And I'm snarky. I don't know if you know this or not. And my husband's like, you should just call it I'd rather talk to dead people. I'm like, babe, you're a genius. That's why I married you. But I grew up terrified of the paranormal thanks to the movie Poltergeist. It scarred me at like the ripe age of 12 years old. My parents took us to the drive-in. And I'm the oldest of the sisters, and took us to see Poltergeist. And I thought ghosts were going to hurt you, kill you, and maim you. That's not a thing. It's not a thing at all. So
is there any
terrified.
reported incidents?
Not that
sorry.
I've come across ever. So, and I'm looking for it because people get scratched, people get pushed. It's never happened to me personally. But again, like you said, I go in with love, light, and peace and positivity, and I expect the same from the spirits that we're dealing with. Anywho, so I decided to get into paranormal investigating, and I get into depth on why I decided to do it in the book as well. But my dad passed away at a very early age suddenly, so there were no goodbyes. Oh, thank you. He was 53 years old, and here I turned 50 this year. So it's a little scarier now than it was then.
Yeah,
but,
I imagine.
Yeah, I wanted to know he was okay. I wanted to know he wasn't just decomposing in a box somewhere, for, lack of a better term. And I felt like I'd felt his presence around my house, and I'm like, I'm fucking crazy. There's no way. Ghosts aren't real. Mom always told me, it's just your imagination. It's just your imagination. So I'm like, I'm going to watch these shows I'm terrified of watching. And I started off with the Kling brothers. Back in the day, they had 2 seasons, and all they ever did was yell at the ghosts. That was their thing. So I'm like, well, shit. If I get scared, I'll just yell at them and everything will be fine. Well, I mean, I'm the exact opposite.
Are they looking at it like demons? I mean, why were they yelling?
I don't know. For ratings,
Get the fuck out of this house.
I mean, pretty much. So, yeah. So I met a team of paranormal investigators. I went out and I investigated with them. Learned quickly that they were not the team for me when old boy, can't even remember his name. We were in this old, house that was allegedly doctor and smallpox and little girl, as they all are. And he yells up the stairs, "Come at me, bro." And I'm like,
Did he really?
He literally did. I have it on film somewhere in some hard drive somewhere.
That's like the
I should find that.
It's like Get Her, Ray. Or Get Her.
Exactly. But the second investigation I went on with that same crew, and the last, I might add, I got there before the rest of the team, and it was me and my husband and the people who actually lived in this old school now, that they also run it out for paranormal investigations. One of them was a medium, and we were walking through this hallway, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa. I can't go on. I felt nauseous. I felt dizzy. And I had to actually just immediately sit down on the floor. And she goes to me, "Are you an empath?" I'm like, I don't know what's an empath, because this was only my second investigation ever. And she goes on to say, well, you just walk through a portal, and usually only empaths and mediums feel it like you did. And I'm like, okay, time to research what an empath is. So yes, I am an empath. I don't see things like a spirit medium does, like all the time. But when I make a connection with the spirit, sometimes they will show me memories that are not mine and they were theirs. I call it my crazy. I honestly do. And people tell me I need to stop doing that and respect it. But I believe that the spirits I deal with get a kick out of it.
So you were a skeptic before that?
I didn't want to know anything about it before that. I didn't. I knew it was there. It was in my gut.
See, I want to believe. I really want to believe because I'm totally neurotic. I believe there's nothing after life. But I was just thinking if I saw a ghost, if I knew something was out there, it would be so cathartic. It would be so healthy for me to believe that. If that makes sense. Like it sounds like that's what you're doing.
It's exactly why I got into this. So it makes complete sense to me. And I've only seen like a handful of apparitions of any kind in this whole time, but I hear them all the time. And my little odd box, which is my companion, I've had full-on conversations with people from the other side. That's the only way I can explain it, because it's not us with walkie-talkies talking into this box. People can watch it on TV and go, oh, well, I know they got somebody feeding them this audio from another. No, it blows my mind every time it happens. Yeah, it's
first
just
of all, it's brave that it's just the three of you. I mean, I would feel more scared and uncomfortable with just two other of my friends than an entire film crew.
That's true. That's true. Because my friends would just leave me to rot if something happened.
Well, I mean, even so, I'm thinking of my friends, nobody would protect me or could protect me, even if they wanted to. Look at Justin. I love you, Justin, but I wouldn't feel safe in staying the night in an abandoned mansion with you.
I am the protector of the group. I am extreme amount of maternal instinct. So I've been known to pull out my mommy voice on a ghost or two.
On a ghost?
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, there's I think it's in season 2 or 3. I'm just in the beginning of season 3, so it's definitely a couple of times in season 2. And I'm trying to think. I think it was Clayton. At one point, you just go, "Hey, back off!" And he goes, "Don't do that. It'll get angry again."
And then there are times when Clayton's like, "You know what? I think it's time to pull out the mommy voice."
He has to be one of my favorite one of my favorite characters, for the lack of a better term. But it's a show, so we see them in that lens. But
he is a skeptic who has seen some shit.
Yeah. So what is his place? Because he seems very kind of clued in. He almost seems with it, but he's would describe himself as a skeptic.
Yes. Yeah, he does. And my favorite things are when he gets scared. It's the best. We were in Red Key, Indiana, and in this huge old, it used to be a Pythian lodge. I still need to look up what a Pythian is. And Carter and I were off checking out a noise we thought we heard on the other side of this huge auditorium is pretty much what it was. And Clayton starts freaking out. And I grabbed Carter's shirt because he started heading towards Clayton. I said, no, just stay here. This is going to make great TV. And not long after that, whatever spirit it was, grabbed his ass, and Clayton went running out of the room, said, I'm not going back. So it was good TV.
He had an invisible ass grab.
Yeah, we all had that.
Fantastic.
Oh my god! So that's like you actually talk about that quite a bit in the show, about like whenever you're talking to spirits, that one of the first things that they do to talk with you is they play with your hair.
Literally.
Oh, that's
I was
crazy.
investigating this past weekend, and I hadn't happened in a hot minute because I haven't investigated with the boys in over a year now. I mean, it's been. I mean, we've got.
Are you going to get back together when things go back to normal?
No, I don't think we are. Clayton actually ended up moving out to California. So we were all kind of in the Indiana area before, but he's on to bigger and better. And I'm so proud of him. And I know he's going to take over the world. And I'm super proud of him. Well, and Carter's like, Mom, I'm done. So
Well, Clayton, if you're watching this, we love you, and we thought that you were awesome on the show, and we hope that you have great success moving forward. Carter, you're a bitch.
Wow.
But we love you too.
Carter's downstairs, actually. I can go get him.
You should, like, dude, stop being a bitch. Come on, they're just spirits. That's all.
The ghost messages.
He's great. He's like, Mom, I'm not even really into the paranormal. You know, he's seen some stuff. He's had some feelings. He's like, Mom, I just do this to spend time with you. So he got major brownie points.
That's so nice. So if like a ghost appeared before him, he'd go, not impressed. Just, I'm trying to.
I mean, you have to know, Carter. Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Please, I need you to go back to my loved ones and convey this message.
Like,
can you get someone else? I'm not the only medium. All right.
He's like, I gotta go home and play games on Twitch. You know.
That's fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Did you have any moments that really, like, you said something in the book? The voice that said "Get out."
Oh, when I was a teenager.
Spoiler. That was when you were a teenager.
Yeah. So when I'd still, and one of the reasons I as
you
well
were wide
was
awake for that.
Yeah, it was a girlfriend I was senior in high school, junior in high school. I had a girlfriend spend the night with me, and Mom and Dad had left to go to my sister's softball game. And we had gone to Toys R Us and bought a Ouija board because, you know, that's what you did in the 80s. And we were playing with it on the back deck, and we had some like serious activity. And I'm like, I swear to God, I'm not moving this. Do you swear? And her and I even talked about it recently. She's like, that was not me. I said, I swear to God, it was not me. We're both obsessed with the paranormal still to this day. But I woke up the next morning and I heard a voice in my ear say, get out. But it was, get out. And I smacked her because we were sleeping in my same bed. I said, we got to get this out of here. My mom's going to find out there's something going on. Let's go. So yeah, we got the Ouija board out of there. And like I said, I talked to her just recently, and I guess I don't remember it because I'm Alzheimer's years old, but we were so obsessed that we ended up on like a piece of notebook paper from like those spiral notebooks, made our own handwritten Ouija board because we weren't done yet, and used a quarter.
Oh, did it work?
What is that? I don't even remember. She says it did.
I've had so many fights with friends when I was younger saying, you were moving that. I know you were moving that. No, I wasn't. We all swear nobody was moving it. And yet there's one time I did fake it with a girl. The Ouija
That's what
board.
she said.
Well, yeah, that is, but long story short, I faked it too. So, you know, sometimes you're on antidepressants. It's really hard to finish up. Anyway, sorry. No, I was answering like a wise ass because this girl really wanted to do it on the Ouija board, not do it on the, you know what I mean?
Dang.
But along those lines, my wife will not allow a Ouija board in the house. She said it scares her too much. Different story altogether, but I'm all over the place. But
I say my wife won't allow any of my scrying or card reading tools outside of my office.
You see my office. It's all in here.
That's fantastic. I love the fluorescent lights. Your office has such a cool feel about it.
And also, I've seen other pictures of your office, so I know right above the palm reader is your poltergeist poster.
Yeah, we've got tarot cards on the shelf, a stack of Ouija boards on top. Yeah, I got a problem.
Well, I have some vintage stuff in my office that I've tried to kind of maybe connect to see if I can see or speak with some of the maybe lingering spirits that might be connected to these objects.
Can you I'm sorry, Justin.
No, sure.
Can you tell me what scrying is?
So you can see the mirror behind me here. That's just a mirror it was actually a piece of glass that I spray painted black and put back in the frame. And you just kind of gaze into it, but very loosely. You know, like back in high school in history class where you were just kind of zoning out and everything was just kind of fuzzy in your eyesight?
Yes.
That's what you do while you're looking in this mirror. Some people can say they're seeing themselves aging right before their eyes. Some people can see spirits standing behind them. Some people say they can see the future. It's just all what your ability is
So
when
this
you're
isn't just a
scrying.
normal mirror.
Mm-mm.
No. So yeah, so I scry using, this is my, I have this black mirror that I use in my office. I do have a travel size black mirror that's about this big that I take with me whenever I'm like kind of like feeling things in a new place, because I'm a musician, and when I go like on tour, if I'm feeling something, I'm like, let me just center myself. So I have this little pocket-sized black mirror, and I'll do that. I'll just find a quiet place and I'll gaze. I've had a couple of experiences. I also have an obsidian black sphere. So instead of a crystal ball, just because I don't know, I was drawn to the black mirror, and one of my first scrying sessions, I saw myself acquire horns. And after reading books on symbolism, they said that that means that you have great strength when it comes to your connection mentally with the spirit world. So that freaked me out a
Oh,
lot.
yeah. I didn't think that was going to end well.
No.
Yeah.
And so that's everyone's first fears are, of course, you're going to contact, these, demonic, figures. But
Demon schmeemans.
but that's also from an uneducated standpoint. But
Right.
so I see these horns, and then I scried for the second time, and my father passed away actually while I was on tour. He was
Oh,
sick.
gosh, I'm sorry.
And thank you. The doctors had said, you know what, he should be fine. You should go on tour. You're going to be gone only a week. He has at least 3 weeks left in him. I landed in Prague, and I found out that he passed while I was over the Atlantic. And so that's something that like really weighed on me. The fact that even though I did get the chance to say goodbye, I got to sing to him a last time. I got to kiss him, and I got to see in his eyes that he still knew who I was. It still weighed on me that I wasn't by his side, that I wasn't with him. And so the second time I scried, I specifically sought out to speak to him. And I remember that on the sphere that I was using, there was a scuff mark because it was a sphere that I had dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was viewing into the sphere, I saw my reflection tilt its head around the scuff mark. Now, knowing my father, that was definitely him saying, Jesus Christ, you don't talk to me in 6 years, because at the time that's how long he'd been gone. Because you can't even fucking clean up the scuff mark. Come on.
Yep.
But then I saw a couple of other things. I think there was the motion of fluid water and things of that nature. And of course, I have so many books now on symbolism, symbology, dream symbolism. And
Hold on, Justin, real quick. I think your wife is debating you in the comments.
oh, I'm sure that she is. That's what she is. My wife is Nanny Tessie. Oh no, she's just saying
yeah,
no.
No.
Yeah, she's not a fan of this stuff. And again, I think it's from a point again of not understanding what it is. Again, I grew up, again, my father we were Catholic. We were, he considered himself a good upstanding Catholic, but he also had many books on palm reading. He had trays and trays of crystals. I mean, Native American, because where he was 1/8 Taino Indian, native people of Puerto Rico. And I'm just like, this was something that was normal. We had a ghost in our house, and we would talk to her. Her name was Marilyn. That was like a normal thing, that I kind of grew up with. And it's something that I guess I never really talked with my wife about until the day, she says, why do you have this black obsidian ball? I'm like, oh, because I'm trying something. I'm trying to connect.
It's for protection, honey. I'm protecting you.
You do houses too, or are you just doing like historical landmarks? Have you done houses, Kitsie?
Yes, actually, like I said, the crew recently broke up. Carter and Clayton and I are no longer doing our thing. But recently, I've decided, after writing the book, that I have this connection with the spirit world, and I want to help people that were terrified of the paranormal like I used to be, and show them that it's not scary. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean they're out to harm you or hurt you, and it's not scary. They're just trying to communicate. And sometimes it's loved ones that are trying to communicate. Sometimes it's, previous landowners, but since I've been investigating people's homes, I've found out it's generally loved ones that are what you would almost consider like a guardian angel or a spirit guide, just reaching out, letting them know they're there, just wanting to, like one girl, her father came through, that they ended on not so great terms. And one of the first two things he said was ashamed and I'm sorry. But he finally got to say the words that he didn't say when he was alive. So that's my new gig, is helping people. And with my friend KJ, and I have a friend who's a spirit medium named Tiffany Rice. KJ and I kind of investigate things, and then we bring in the spirit medium at the end to kind of tie it up with a pretty little bow. So it's not we're looking for demons or, notoriously haunted locations anymore. It actually just dropped 2 weeks ago. It's the first kind of trial run at it. I'm calling it Paranormal X Road, as in crossroad, because the CROSS was taken on Facebook. But so with that big X, like X Games. And so it's actually, people are watching and going, oh my God, this is actually a beautiful story that's filled with ghosts, and I'm crying happy tears. So if you go to tinyurl.com/paranormalxroad, you can check out our little pilot, if you will.
Say that one more time.
Paranormal X Road. So tinyurl.com/paranormalxroad.
So
No
is
Gotcha.
that on your flow page?
Yes.
So, okay, good.
So, folks, you can actually find all of Kitsie's stuff by going to this this link right here, flow.page/KitsieDuncan. And I kind of want to just put a pause in because I'm looking at our clock right now. We're at 34 minutes in. And sadly, Facebook, we got to say goodbye. You don't got to go home, but you can't
It's about to
stay here.
get crazy up in here on the Twitch side.
So, yes, we're gonna stop on
You got
Facebook
the gangster hat. Nice.
Again, thank you all for tuning in. If you're catching this live or as a rebroadcast, thank you, Facebook. We love you dearly. Please make sure that you tune in and check out all of our updates. We will also be happy to share the link to twitch.tv/ Jason and not HIJ podcast, excuse me. Let me just put it up so I don't forget it. But we'll put up the link once this episode is done so you can catch the rebroadcast. But if you want to catch it live, go on over to Twitch right now. And again, I'll put up all of our pages, twitch.tv/HIJ podcast, facebook.com/Jason and Justin. That's where we kind of disseminate all the information. So you definitely want to be linked in there. And if you want to check out our finished products, go to youtube.com/user/superjpo711. Also, be sure to follow and love and support Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. That is our parent company, our parent channel.
Anything else you want to plug? Any cheap?
Absolutely. Yes. I want to also post that if you would like to support our show. Yeah.
Of course.
If you'd like to support our show, you piece of shit. Please feel free to visit our digital tip jar over at Venmo at Jason-Pollock-2. One last thing that I want to share for us before we get back to Kitsie, because she's so wonderful and patient and darling. And that is the show that Jason and I will be doing this upcoming Saturday. Totally free comedy show live from my mama's house.
Pollock.
So you've been called worse, that's for sure. I know. I've been there. But Miss Katrina Braxton will be our host and presenting this wonderful comedy show. What else do you have to do, my friends? Just hang out with us and laugh. You can't go wrong on Valentine's Day, especially. Just laugh, laugh, laugh. You can't go out to a comedy show. You can't go out and do anything. So sit at home with a bottle of wine and laugh with us all. And while you're doing all of that, once the show is over, pop on over to flow.page/KitsieDuncan and check out all of the stuff. That's her Instagram. That's her website. That's the link to buy her book, which we're going to talk more about in just a moment after we say goodbye to Facebook. That is links to also, I believe, the Oddity Files and the link for your new exploration, which we're going to talk
Yeah.
about a lot more in just a second. Anything that you want to add in real quick, Jason?
I'm ready to keep going.
Okay, well then let's do the thing. Goodbye, Facebook.
Don't litter's our big message here. Hi, we're back with Kitsie Duncan.
Hey,
What's up, Kitsie?
I don't know what's up with you.
Oh my God, you're so ghetto right now. I love it.
Just see my ass. I call it the ghetto booty.
All right, stand up. Let's do it.
No, you got the book right
I was
there.
just
Oh my
gonna
God,
say,
look at this.
In fact,
Look
here,
at that.
I'll put it up. I wasn't
not
sure
my
if
ass.
that was you, but yes,
It's not.
Did you say that's not your ass?
No, that's not my ass. I
What part of
wish
your
it
body
was.
is it? Oh, it's not your ass.
It's not me at all.
It's not you at all. Really?
Really?
Well, did
It
you-
looks
did-
like me
it does.
20
So they
pounds
were
ago,
just like-
pre-pandemic.
Hey.
Before you got the COVID-19.
Good to see you. Oh my God. Yeah, I gained the COVID-19. I didn't actually
Same.
acquire the disease, but the virus.
Exact same.
Yeah, I hear you. So why didn't they use your picture? I mean, look, it's a butt double, Nanny Tessie said.
Yes, for sure. Well, they said, well, what do you want for a book cover? So I kind of threw together that kind of thing with like some random chick walking away in like this old rundown building. And they came up with that. And at first she came back with red hair. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Amy Bruni's about to drop a book. I don't want this to be mistaken as Amy Bruni's book whatsoever, because she probably doesn't agree with anything I say. So I have blonde hair. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm like, oh,
Well,
if
we
this
know
ass
you. We
sells
don't
a
know
couple
Amy
books,
Bruni. Then why not?
exactly.
I didn't buy the book for the ass. However, it's a nice added bonus. Bonus.
Yes, we got bone ass. Yes, we got it.
It's a nice. Oh wow, we went there. All of a sudden, we just sunk to the lowest common denominator, didn't
We
we?
did.
Well, do as Twitch does. Come on, guys.
That's right.
We're officially
right.
the morning zoo show now.
I was gonna say I'll stand up and show my ass, but I don't want to do that to anybody. Nobody deserves that. Yeah, I understand. I don't think we get a lot of complaints, but it's okay. No, there's no
nips on Twitch.
There's no nips on Twitch. We're not allowed to show any nipples, so that's why we're both clothed right now.
Well, I'm just gonna go, guys. It was nice meeting you.
And scene. Okay.
So I you have a much more peaceful approach to ghost hunting, because he does. That's a sweet wife right there.
It is.
Yeah.
You did good.
Show Bucket List Experience posted some new emotes. That's my favorite.
Oh, I can't. It's so
the anxiety
so
look.
itty-bitty. Oh, hello,
Well,
anxiety face.
That's yeah. I'm the face of anxiety.
So if you subscribe, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just put real quick. If you subscribe to HIJ Podcast on Twitch, you can have that emote. So please be sure that you subscribe. If you have Amazon Prime, not only can you watch Kitsie's show, but you can also get a free subscription. So please make sure you link up your Amazon Prime to Twitch. That way you can get a free subscription and you can get that emote, the Jason anxiety face, which, you get to see plenty of during our show.
That's not selling it. But either way, now you have a much more peaceful approach to encountering ghosts, because my experience in the past was, like you said, Poltergeist, because that movie horrified me as a child. And so did The Conjuring. I thought was pretty creepy. And the Warrens seem to have a more demonic taste of it.
Yeah, so I love the Warrens. I love what they've done for the paranormal community, how they've brought paranormal investigating as almost something normal that people do nowadays as a hobby. They were really devout Catholics, though. And I don't know for sure if this is why they thought every spirit was a demon or not. But here's kind of the rundown that went down in my head, because I have so much respect for them, but I also don't believe there are demons in every location that's haunted. They were such devout Catholics. I believe that if they thought a spirit wasn't in heaven, then it must be a demon. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You said you're Catholic, right? Does that make sense?
I can understand the logic. I should mention, I'm a recovering Catholic, so okay.
I'm Jewish. We have Dybbuk's.
That's
true.
Those are
that's scary shit right there.
Give me Bigfoot, give me aliens, give me ghosts.
Wait, how would you define Dybbuk? I thought it was just like a Jewish demon or Jewish ghost.
It's a Jewish demon that stays in a box.
Oh.
There's movies on Dybbuk boxes.
Yeah.
They're terrifying.
Really? They're some of the scariest horror movies I have seen. If it's surrounding a Dybbuk, that whole idea.
I've never heard of the movie Dybbuk box. I don't know anything about. I just know some Coen Brothers movies started with Dybbuk's. A Dybbuk story.
That was A Simple Man.
A Simple Man. Yeah. That was my experience with Dybbuk's. Not my experience, but that's what I've witnessed.
No,
the movie.
There's been I've seen some.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan starred in one where like his daughter had gotten one at a garage sale, and all hell broke loose.
I forgot about that.
And Zach Bagans actually has like the Dybbuk box that started all the Dybbuk box stories. Allegedly, I don't know whether it's true or not. Everything I read on it could go either way. The guy made it up or he didn't. But Zach Bagans owns one at his haunted museum in Las Vegas, which I have complete envy over that museum.
That is really cool. I didn't even know that place existed. Now I need to go there next time I go back to Vegas.
It's amazing.
We need to take our show on the road once we're allowed to.
I would love that.
And we should go do that, and we should go see Penn and Teller since we're both magicians also. Or the Magic Castle. We should go to the Magic Castle as well.
That would be great.
Sorry.
No.
Penn and Teller are like total anti-ghosts, aren't they?
Probably.
I would assume so. They're both.
You know what?
Atheists.
I like Penn and Teller until you just said that. Fuck them.
That was me when I found that out as well.
But I gotta off the subject. I just realized you have Bigfoot on your hat. I love Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's my homie. Yeah,
I played Bigfoot in Through the Freelander's book and in Maxim magazine. We did a photo shoot about how to beat up Bigfoot. So I was Bigfoot because he. Do we have any pictures of that, Justin? Or is
please send me pictures of that?
I don't think that we do, but if you have pictures of it, I think they need to be added to our private chat, and we need to make them posters with Judah's permission, of course.
Look at all the emotes.
And there's a couple emotes in there. I see our Rodney Dangerfield is in there, and that's from Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. So be sure to follow that page if you want some awesome emotes as well. I'll put their Twitch up.
Okay, so now I want to get back to your hauntings.
Yes.
If that's okay.
Please.
All right, please. Enough promotions. God damn it.
Damn it. No, I get it.
No, okay, so I feel like everybody would ask you this if they have you on the show, but I have to because we haven't asked you yet. All these houses you've checked out, all these locations, have you had any experiences that were legitimately, fuck, that's scary?
When I first started, absolutely. The first time I went into a jail, which is now one of my favorite places to investigate. So I grew up in Northwest Indiana. It's pretty much a suburb of Chicago because it touches Chicago, but it's still Indiana, so they think we're all hicks. But it's actually the jail that John Dillinger broke out of back in the day. And in Public Enemies, Johnny Depp actually filmed in the same jail. So kept wishing I'd run across Johnny Depp there. But it was terrifying the first time. My husband is 6'4", and when he left, he's like, fuck that place. My friend that was with is 6'8", and he's like, we walked out and he flipped off the building as we left. Just the vibe was.
What happened in there?
So it was a jail for so many years. So, it was, my thing is, I think a lot of people mistake ghosts that are assholes for demons. And if somebody was an asshole in life, they're going to be an asshole in death, and they're going to do whatever they do to scare you or, not
That makes
have to deal with
That
it.
makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
That's my opinion. There's no rule book on this. I'm just kind of making shit up as I go. But it
It's a
does
good
make sense.
theory, though. It does. Wait.
So this place was filled with entities that felt like demons because they were the worst of this area. Lake County was a huge hub for the mob back in the day, Lake County, Indiana. Actually, the spirit that scared me the most at the time, this was very early on in my investigation, he was Al Capone's hitman. His name was James Sampson Furr. And how dirty can I get?
You can get pretty dirty.
As dirty as you'd like.
Just don't show your nipples.
I was going to ask you about Fur, so I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I'm still obsessed with Fur. I shouldn't be because he was a terrible, terrible human being. But Fur, his nickname was Fur because he liked the ladies with a little fur down there. He didn't like any clean shaven bullshit. He liked all the fur.
I liked him to look like a woman too.
There you go. And at like the age of 13, he was thrown in jail for trying to rape a little 8-year-old. I mean, he was the worst of the worst.
Wow.
Of course, that's the first spirit I run across at this location with my love, light, and peace and positivity. And because I was so new to it, I still wasn't sure. I still wasn't sure what they could do, what they can't do. Can they hurt me? Whatever. I look back on it now and I'm like, you dumbass, you should not have been that scared. You should have just went with it. But he kept trying to separate me from the group via this K2 session. So a K2 session is a little box that lights up when electromagnetic energy crosses over it. And they say that spirits give off electromagnetic energy. This building that we were in had zero electricity in it. This was early days of cell phones. You could barely make a call across the room. So it wasn't anything like that, but we were asking him questions. And he was trying to separate me from the group. And I was terrified. And here's the deal. The group was in like this little day cell where the prisoners could hang out during the day all together. And the thing just wanted me to step on the other side of the bars. It's not like it was trying to take me 3 floors up and kill me. So anyway, this is how irrational fear of spirits is for so many people. And it did for me at one point as well. So yeah, I finally did it. I put on my big girl panties and I may or may not have tried to flirt with him when we first started as well. Cause I'm like, well
he's a celebrity. I mean,
and this was the men's area, this little cell block. So I'm like, oh, they haven't seen a woman in a long time, blah, getting ballsy. And long story short, I guess I reminded him of either a past love or a family member or somebody he cared about named Harriet. And that's kind of when I realized that this isn't as scary as people think it is. They're just trying to communicate. He wanted to spend time with me because I reminded him of somebody he admired when he was alive. Did he grab my ass? Yeah, he did. He totally did. But, he hasn't seen a woman in a long time. I get it. Badass. Sure.
But
Go for it, Justin.
No, I was gonna say that's what I wanted to ask, because there were some things in the show that you were being very you were kind of holding it close to the vest about Fur. You're like, he really wasn't a good guy. I'm not gonna go into it, but just trust me on it. And so I was like, I trust you, but I want to know.
Yeah.
He sounds like an awful human being.
Literally Al Capone's hitman. There is nothing worse in the mobster days than being Capone's hitman. So,
you could come to Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, and you could actually see where Al Capone was kept.
Oh, that fancy schmancy cell? Yes, please.
I remember being in Alcatraz, and we were in the shower area during the tour. She said, "This is where Al Capone, where they found out he had syphilis." And I wanted to ask, well, what exactly did they see?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Al, you got something on your ass. I don't think it was.
Where'd you get that loofah from? It's not a loofah, that's me.
Hey.
Alcatraz is amazing. I went on the tour as well. My day job is doing photo ops. Well, it used to be for Comic-Cons and horror conventions and just fan events. And at one point we got to do a show where we were doing photo ops. You looked across the water and Alcatraz was right there. I'm like, I'm not leaving this place until I get to do a tour of that place.
Now, do you have a roster of celebrities for this photo op, or is it, do you get hired by the conventions to run the photo op?
Yep, we get hired by the conventions to run the photo ops, and we do the scheduling, we do the sales of the tickets and things like that. We make it a no-brainer for the show promoter.
Good for
That's
you.
so cool.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, if you were able to harness the ability to communicate with dead people to the extent where you can use them as celebrity photo op sessions,
Maybe
you would
I
be
can get
breaking
fur in.
barriers there. Oh my God. You would be selling out. You would be a millionaire at this point. That's
Yeah, you
The
want to
grab
talk
of the
to Fur?
ass
Give
is
me a
extra.
second.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what you could do with Al Capone. That would be phenomenal.
Right? Pre-syphilis, please.
Oh God, yeah. Good evening, Gaz. Now, I just had an image when you were talking in the book. I didn't watch the show too much, but I was reading the book, and you were communicating in, I forget the house, but you were asking this girl if she was 15 years old or a boy.
It's Anna. Yep.
Anna,
In Culbertson. Yeah.
Yes. Oh wait, didn't she follow you?
Yeah. She's here. You guys crickets. You guys got so
I
quiet.
know. I'm just thinking. Like, I mean, how do you get any privacy? That's terrible. It's a terrible thought.
She knows the rules. No, she's fine. There's two spirits and they're both female, that I had such a connection with them on an investigation where the moment we walked in the door and started until we left, that's all the communication we pretty much had was with this one spirit. And it's so magical when something like that happens. You just wait for the Bobby Mackey's episode. That's the other spirit that followed me home. Oh, spoiler alert. But yeah, so I've had a couple of them follow me home. And these two dolls behind me on the shelves, those are haunted dolls I bought on Facebook too, because, I can't get enough of it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's
Now.
bye now, says my wife. She goes, no, thank you.
Yeah,
But
I don't
she's
blame
not
her.
saying goodbye. She's saying, nope, sorry, spirits. Nope. So now the Culbertson Mansion, that's where the show began. That's season 1, episode 1. Now, is that where you first met this spirit that now has an attachment to you?
Yes, 100%.
In that
And-
episode?
If you go back and watch the episode, at one point I tell her, I know you're scared. Come with me and I'll protect you.
Yes.
And I pretty much invited her home with me by doing that, I believe, because I did the same thing in Bobby Mackey's episode.
And you
So I
can't
just got to
actually-
watch my mouth.
So they can get their feelings hurt because they were human at one point.
Yeah.
So you can't really say, remember when I said, come with me? I meant to the door. I meant go
I
our
meant
separate ways.
downstairs.
Yeah, I meant
Yeah.
by me. You can stay by me.
I was
While
like,
I'm
I'll be back to
here.
visit. But let's just keep it, keep things professional.
And
I'm going to
Ever
be
since-
dead honest with you about Anna. She actually still goes on investigations with me. And there's one investigation that just Carter and I did before, the whole pandemic thing went down, where it was these two spirits at a different location. We're talking to Carter and I during a dowsing rod session. So they are these rods that spirits can move very easily like this to give you yes and no answers, cross them and uncross them.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get him to do that as a person, to just like cross and stop. So dowsing rods are amazing. Anyway, shit, I had a brain fart.
You were
What was
talking
I
about
saying?
dowsing rods and Anna on the
Anna,
tour with you.
Yes.
Investigation.
Oh, yeah. And Anna pretty much came across and said, girl, why do you think you're having so much talking to these spirits? It's me helping you. I mean, she didn't say it just like that, but it blew my mind and made all the sense in the world. So I want her here. I love her here.
So she's part of your family now.
Literally.
That's fantastic.
But
Yeah.
I love that idea, though, the fact that you already have this entity that can also put this because she, I'm sure, can communicate with spirits a lot easier than you. To say she's cool. She's cool. No, hi, I'm a spirit. How are you?
Yeah.
This is this
We're
is my bag of bones. She's cool.
we're in the same wavelength.
You can talk to her.
You don't want her mommy voice, but she's cool. No,
Now, oh, sorry.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Something happened after I invited you on the show, and you said yes. I was very excited. I was telling my wife that you're going to be on, where she's very into this kind of thing too, but she won't be on camera. She refuses, and yet she's beautiful. But that's a different story. I was in bed cuddling with my Gidget, my cat, and Laura comes into the room. That's my wife, not the entity. She said, she's like, were you just here the whole time? I said, I just fucking woke up. What? And she was in the bathroom. And usually if she's in there showering, I might knock on the door and say, are you okay? So I can use the bathroom. And she was in there. She heard the knock and she heard hello. And she said, hey, baby, I'm just finishing up. Then you can use the bathroom. She opens the door and nobody's there. And I'm in the bed sleeping. She swore it was me. I said, see what happened? We asked Kitsie to be on the show. All of a sudden it opened the door. It opened some vessel. They're like, oh, he's going to be friends with Kitsie. So
maybe Anna was just stopping in to say hey.
Do you find they could be mischievous?
Oh, absolutely. So the one, I grew up in a house that was originally owned by, before we got it, was owned by people who ran a funeral home. So I'm sure they brought something home with them at some point. I found out, in my late. Yeah, well, it was a house and they had lived in the house before us. We moved in and they were like, the push carts for the coffins were in the garage. They had actually made a patio in the back out of those slabs they put on the back. I mean, I grew up white trash, but the slabs they put on top of the coffins, there was a patio made out of that at one point. Mom and Dad fixed it up. They were like the flippers before flippers were a thing.
Oh, wow.
And things would just disappear in our house all the time. And I mean, it was the running joke in the house. Mom would say, don't look too hard for it. The ghost has it. They'll bring it back in a couple days. And in a couple days, it'll end up exactly where we had been looking for it the whole time. So, yeah, I think there are trickster ghosts out there. I mean, what else is there to do in the afterlife but scare people and hide shit?
That's true. I mean, if I'm a new ghost, I just find out I'm a ghost. I'm invisible. Nobody can see or hear me. I'm so going to fuck with people.
Oh yeah,
that would be. I mean, Justin, well, your story, Kitsie, is not scary. You have more of a, like we were saying, more peaceful. You're kind of like the Little House on the Prairie or the Waltons of the ghost world. But I mean,
it actually, there's a couple of episodes. I'm trying to remember which one. It may have been when you were at the Octagon Hall. And I'm trying to remember if that was the one where you kind of got the inclination that the spirit that you were talking to didn't know that they have already passed on.
Yeah. We were taught early on at some random location before we started filming for Prime that they don't always know they're dead. And you don't want to be the one to tell them. So we were pretty careful about that. Towards the end of it, I'm like, well, somebody's got to tell them. If I am that kind of girl, I call it like I see it. But yeah, I think sometimes they don't know. And
oh my God,
which is go ahead.
Oh, I want to see in the show. Do you do things like that? Like, I got to tell you, I know this is hard to hear, but you're dead. Yeah. You really are dead. You're a fucking ghost. I could see you because I'm special.
Did you just see that thing fly behind me?
I did not, just because my camera is all sorts of fucked up and your whole thing is green right now, and I'm sad about that.
Was that Anna?
I don't know. I just saw something fly. Wait a minute. I'm always backwards from here down to there. Oh. It was a white something.
An orb?
I don't believe in orbs, but so it
Really?
was probably dust.
But do you believe in dust particles?
I do believe in dust particles, and I am not the best housekeeper. So let's go with dust particles. There we go.
That's
I
funny.
would
So
love to witness Anna on camera. That'd be amazing.
so you don't believe in orbs now, because I in my years I have been able to see two things, and one is that I've been able to see light, and I have been able to see consistently shadow figures.
Yes.
Now, when you say you could see light, because
I mean, not just like, oh, there's a light, or oh, it's a candle.
right.
No, I mean, like, I can see orbs of light, and I've never really put much. Again, I haven't studied much because it was not something I ever really put much weight into until recently. But different colored orbs, and I've seen them move in a very specific pattern.
But
and
are you
as
seeing them with your eyes, or are they in photos?
with my eyes?
Those are real things. Yeah, if you're seeing balls of light floating in the air,
Yeah.
that's legit. But if you get a little dust ball, and because your flash is on your iPhone, and you see all these little dust balls all over your room, that's not paranormal activity. But if you're seeing it with your eyes, that's
no.
definitely paranormal.
Yeah, I see the orbs a lot less. I see shadows daily.
Mhm.
And
It
again,
depends if you're in the sun, but
yes,
yeah.
if the sun's at my back, I see them vividly. No, but like especially if I'm in a dark space, they seem to come to me more frequently, which
You're a lighthouse.
I'm about as big as a lighthouse. You don't know that 'cause I'm on a tiny screen, but
No, they come to you. I mean, a lot of people I know that happens. There's no way they cannot believe in ghosts because they are surrounded by them at all times. Speaking of that Zach Baggins Museum, am I obsessed with it? Yes, it's absolutely amazing.
I would
Go
love
check it
to
out.
go there. I don't blame you.
The man is a fucking genius, and it's just beautiful. Anyway, so I wanted the full experience when I went, and he had a tarot card reader when you first go in the door, who she was legit. I mean, things she told me have happened. So I walk in the door, and I told her, yeah, I do some paranormal investigating. She's like, I know you're surrounded by spirits right now. And I'm like, wait, what? So you may notice in like the middle of season 2, I stopped lending my energy to spirits because the tarot card reader told me, stop offering up your energy because they're not letting go. Ooh. So lesson learned.
So you're like the go-to. You're like the in Shawshank Redemption, you're kind of the Morgan Freeman of the ghost world. You're like, she's the one who can get you stuff.
Yeah, apparently. They love that love, light, peace, and positivity.
That's it. Well, because everyone else is yelling at them, come at me, ghost bro.
Exactly.
So I had to steal your call back there, Margarita.
Please do.
I gotta tell you, and if you saw that in a movie, if a ghost hunter in a movie would say, come at me, bro, you want that guy to get hurt or killed.
You want him to die, really?
You do.
I mean, let's be honest. I kind of wanted him to die. We're not on Facebook anymore. It's fine. Because I'm friends with them on Facebook still.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we won't share this link on Facebook.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. He probably doesn't even remember doing it.
Oh, jeez.
Now, was he Italian? Because that's such an Italian. Come at me, bro.
It was, corn-fed Indiana shit is what it was.
Oh, okay.
I'll say that because that reads, now, mind you, because we both live in Jersey now. I'm originally from Philly. And that just reads to me like a very Jersey Shore thing, like you like Snooki or one of her cast would say that.
Yeah.
That's probably where they learned it. It was a long time ago in a galaxy not so far away.
So, okay, I'm going to see if there's any other questions the last thing that I wanted to talk about was...
Can you show Mark Lulu Lounge's... She's got a story to share, it looks like.
Ooh, let's hear. My mom lived in an old house. One room was always locked. They were not given the key. They were told it was out of bounds. Ooh, that's I
want to go to there.
Yeah, right.
Yes, we want to meet the gimp behind the door.
Oh, there's more to it. One bank holiday, and in her accent, one bank holiday, the door opened.
Yes, Lulu's from England, so we have
Oh,
our listener from
sexiest
overseas.
accent ever.
It really is. I've heard her talk. Great voice. Come at me, ghost bro. If that happened in a movie, the dude saying that. Yeah, totally. The owner was mad.
As in
Oh,
not well in the head or upset.
I'm
Oh, my
assuming
favorite.
upset because the door was opened. I want to know
Right.
what was
Oh,
behind the door.
yeah.
Lulu, keep going.
Yeah, Lulu Lounge. What was behind the door? That reminds me.
The ghost just got her, guys. It just got her.
The room had not been touched.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Oh, now I'm curious. Was this like that? It belonged to like my son from the war, and like that kind of
covered in dust.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
It's
probably
like
a
The
dead
Conjuring
relative.
2.
Yeah, right. Yes.
The nun in the hallway did freak me out in that movie.
I love the second one. What I can't remember where it was. What the name of that? It's not Pontefract. There's a couple places in the UK that are like. I mean, everywhere in the UK is haunted.
Right.
Can we just say it? It's got to be.
Well,
It's so old. They're so archaic there. I never hear of ghosts in Israel, though. I've been to Israel, and it's the artifacts there are hundreds or thousands of years old. Some of these battle axes and things they found in the shops when they were excavating. I've never heard of hauntings there. Like,
Did
do
they
we
just not
have
talk
ghosts?
about it?
Maybe they don't talk about it unless it's a Dybbuk. I can't say Dybbuk.
Hey,
It's the very day the guy lived in the house. Oh, that's creepy.
there you go.
Oh wow!
There's the
Insane.
punchline.
Mhm.
Just
Love it.
letting
Love
you
it,
know
love
that
it, love it.
he can't be shut away. He was there.
Yeah.
He existed. You can't just close the door on who he was.
He was a racing car driver who died in a race.
Oh wow.
In a racing
Wow.
Oh
accident.
shit!
Wow.
This is a really cool story. Lulu, now where in England are you so that the three of us can buy tickets?
Wow. He burned alive, she said.
Oh my.
Oh, that's like worst case scenario right there.
Yeah. That would not be a happy ghost.
Yeah, I mean that's wow. Wow.
And it's funny because you have some spirits that like on the anniversary of their death, this is when the door opened, and then you have some spirits that residual hauntings. Like if I were to die tomorrow, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I would residually haunt walking from this office downstairs to my coffee maker, back upstairs, sitting my ass down in this chair. That's what a residual haunting is. And I guess some residual hauntings have been documented for people that are still alive. They just left so much energy behind. You hear the footsteps still, even though that person is still alive. And then you've got the intelligent hauntings like Anna, where she's like going to the ghost, guys, she's cool. You should come hang out and play with us. So I would love for somebody to put together a book and just detail all the different kinds of hauntings. Why? Did you know some poltergeist activity is actually caused by the living because they are under so much stress that they are giving off this vibration and unconsciously causing things to move on their own. So 9 times out of 10, a poltergeist activity is caused by the living. Usually it's a preteen or teenage child, normally a female, which surprise. I mean, we're all crazy at that age.
The acting out makes sense. The teenage acting out.
Yep. So it's absolute. So there is something to this energy. We can't just die and not leave it behind. Where does it go?
Right.
So that's the question for the ages.
Wow.
So in your experience, then it kind of looks like Poltergeist, the movie, could never actually happen. Something like that. That would be kind of seems.
It would be so cool.
It would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Now I think it's the Poltergeist, the movie is the reason I'm so obsessed with my spirit box / odd box, because you hear Carol Ann coming over that TV through all the static and all the noise, and it's haunting, literally, just hearing mommy. I've heard, voices try to come over
You did that
my
so
equipment.
well. That was fantastic.
Oh, I've seen it a bazillion times. And but I think that's why it's called ITC. Do I know what it stands for right this moment in time? No, but it has something to do with, sound and ghosts.
This is your odd box.
And I'm not nearly as smart as I come off in my book. But I think it's part of the reason why I want to see shit flying around in some kid's closet in their bedroom. It's absolutely why I'm obsessed with gathering all this audio evidence through white noise and the apps I use, and why I work so hard. And I think I'm able to have these conversations with these spirits. One of my favorite conversations with spirits was in Salt Lake City, Utah. We were at a haunted attraction. So a haunted attraction is like the thing you go visit in Halloween where the actors jump out and scare you,
right.
as opposed to a haunted location. Well, this place is both. It was several homeless people lived there for several years while it was abandoned. And in the the railroad tracks outside, a lot of people have known to commit suicide out there. So it has every reason to be haunted. But one of the shows on one of the cable channels swears up and down that this silo was filled with demons because actors in the room were chanting demonic whatever, this, that. I don't believe in demons. I believe if there are demons, they've got much larger fish to fry than some silo in the middle of Salt Lake City, Utah. And I had the most prolific conversation with the spirit. They tried to mess with me at first. I'm like, okay, guys, let's do this. And they're like, demon, devil. And I pulled out the mommy voice and I'm like, okay, I'm not buying it. Stop it now. Tell me who you really are. So I found out it was a lady named Linda. No demon whatsoever. And I asked her, I said, well, what do you want me to, because I always tell the ghosts, I'm like, we're on TV. We have 4 fans. So I can tell the world or these 4 people your story. Excuse me. And her voice, I get all misty eyed every time I tell this story. And she just goes, we are just people. And that's when I was like, yep, I was right. Zach Baggins was wrong. But he has one hell of a museum.
I picture this sweet old woman ghost just trying to communicate with you, wearing a nice flowery dress, saying, we're just people, sweetie. Here, have some tea. Oh, sorry, you can't drink that one. It'll go right through you.
At first, we weren't getting at the same location. We weren't getting all the activity we're used to getting. And Clayton had left with his boyfriend James to go grab a pizza we had delivered to the location, and it was just Carter and I left in there. And I go, I'll bribe you with pizza. And this male voice comes booming through. He goes, that could work. So they're funny too. You just got to treat them like you do people, and they're not as scary as your wife thinks they are.
Speaking about, again, just that they're just people, the last episode that I had the chance to watch was the Mitchell Opera House. And you were the first investigators to go in there in this space. And yeah. I was just totally blown away. So for those of you that don't know about the Mitchell Opera House, this reminds me a lot. Down in Delaware, there's a place that one of my bands actually performed at called the Smyrna Opera House, and it worked the exact same way as this place, that it was an opera house. It was a place for orators to come and speak. It was the movie house. It was the fire station. It was the police department. It was all of the city hall, all under one roof kind of a thing. I remember warming up with my band, and my band is called the Killer Queen Experience. We recreate the music of Queen live on stage.
Oh, I want to go.
We'll have to bring it out to you for
Justin,
sure.
you gotta give her a sample before we finish.
Yes, please.
We'll get to that. But I remember, singing like Fat Bottom Girls or something, and the one usher, he's just there smiling, shaking his head. And I just said, what, does it not sound good? He goes, no, it just always makes me laugh whenever I hear a band like you guys come in here to think about 100 years ago, Frederick Douglass was speaking right there. And I'm just like, holy shit, how cool is that? But,
Wow.
But I think of stuff like, I wonder what has gone on there. And especially as something that you guys ran into, because the Mitchell Opera House at the time you guys were there, it had just been renovated, restored to this beautiful performance hall.
Stunning.
I mean, absolutely stunning. I honestly, I looked it up as I'm watching. I'm like, I need to get my fucking band in there. That's so cool. It's a great, beautiful space.
Gorgeous.
And you guys like, this is going to be a cakewalk. It's beautiful. It's nice. It's a happy, cheery place. And then you started to, even before you had shit set up, it wasn't Clayton. It was, I think, Carter.
It was Carter.
Carter saw the apparition in the back that dissipated
His
after
first
a couple,
ghost.
and then he heard the steps on the stairs, and he's like, it was so genuine, And again, you guys you're on your iPhone, and you're just like, okay, and you could hear it. And then you said, the thing that freaked me out is you said, thank you so much for communicating with us. And clear as day, you could hear, you're welcome.
On my iPhone.
On the iPhone.
It's crazy.
Totally, sent chills down my spine. I'm like, this is going to be a great episode. And one of the things that I loved is that you were communicating in that same space, the main performance hall, the room. And you were talking to a child, and then someone who identified themselves, and I loved this because I feel like this so often especially when I was like starting out as a performer. He was David the Talent.
I was the talent. Yeah.
I was the talent, he said. I was like, so I wrote down David the Talent. I'm gonna use that as a character somewhere in like a song or in a story that I write, because it was such a, he's like, who were you? Were you a prisoner in the jail? Were you this? He goes, I was the talent.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? You kidding? I was the MC. I was the song and dance man. I would dress up like a horse and dive into a pool. I was the talent.
Exactly. That place was hopping back in the vaudeville days too. So I just pictured some old vaudevillian kind of dude going on there as Dave / David.
Motel vibe of ghosts.
Yeah, it was so cool, and I just absolutely I loved that. But what I loved even more is that, kind of as a reflection. And before I even get to this point, I just want to say you are one of my favorite in paranormal investigation shows that I've seen, because you didn't hold yourself to the constraints of, we've got to do this in 22 so that way we can show it in 30 with all the commercials, and we have to do all the recap and the blah. So at the end of the day, you saw 15 minutes of shittily edited stuff that doesn't give you anything other than, oh, that was all fucking edited. You guys gave such extended, uncut shots from multiple angles that the things that you showed, like there was one, and I'm trying to remember which episode it was, and I did write it down. So give me a beat.
You can just keep fangirling all night long.
I totally am. At the Para Cafe, where you guys had the multiple shots, and you're holding your camera on you, the light coming from your camera, it was you, and then there's another camera elsewhere, and we can see a shadow come between the camera in your fucking hand and your face. You can't fake that shit.
No,
that's the shadows we're talking about. Those are, when I talk about like seeing shadows, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God, you brought back a childhood memory. When I was in high school, I met this girl. She said, "Have you ever been to the hippie house?" I said, "What's the hippie house?" And in this other part of Cherry Hill, it's not far from where Monster Mania is held. There used to be an abandoned house, or it was like when they're building these big apartment buildings. There was a model apartment building. I agree, Justin. Nothing does my head in more than the constant info. Right, exactly. Yeah. But now I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, hippie house, okay. Right by Rascals.
Yes, the hippie house. They're building these apartment buildings, and before they did it, I think this was built in the 40s, 50s, around that time. There's a sample building where it was like the rental office and sample rooms in there, and it was completely abandoned. And these girls took us in there, It was just 4 of us, and we're in this room. It was just we're crawling through whatever debris was scattered about the place, and they had the flashlight in this little corner. We're looking in this closet, and from behind us was this big shadow that was just kind of growing and growing. I turned around and there was nothing there, and I was like, "All right, time to go. We got to leave. I don't care." I don't know what that was,
And I'd
but
be like,
there was nobody.
"What is your name?
Right.
Did you
I
die
know.
here?"
I didn't know you at the time. I was in the all ghosts or demons phase of my childhood.
Same. I did it too.
Oh man.
Oh,
You know what's
Margarita
really
had-
cool though? Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Margarita had a question for you.
How do ghosts sense time? These are
That's a
answers
great
I
question.
want. These are answers I am dying to get, to be perfectly honest.
I would love to see you on a chat show, which is you in an empty chair in a studio, and you would just talk about who's in the chair. And
With
you're the
my
only one
box.
experience- With your box.
Yes, because the box is the coolest thing, and the thing is, what I love is also in later episodes in some of those places, there, like the one. Okay, I'm going back season 2, Parramatta Goal, when you guys were in Australia. And I just remember there was the one room, and I think it was you and Clayton, and you guys had the headphones on so that you could hear better. And
they were in the other room asking questions. It's called the Estes method.
yes, and you guys were just getting. I mean, it was all I wrote, and I'll read it. What I wrote: very talkative spirit. And
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it was just there was just such a conversation going on with actual words, being said, not just, and not even just, and again, like in like the Mitchell Opera House when you guys were down in the dressing room, and I'm forgetting the name that you gave the mature woman. I remember that, and not the old lady, not the old lady, the mature woman. But I mean,
Who
it's
used to
amazing.
watch Ghost Hunters, by the way.
But I love also how communicative they could be with something as simple as a flashlight. I mean, and again, incredibly talkative, but with this, and I already, but it's not the spirit box; it's the bigger version that you use,
The odd box.
the odd box. That just, I was just so impressed with. Just again, how communicative, the fact that we got things like I'm the talent, David, but then you were having full conversations. You could hear the spirits talking with each other, and that's the thing that freaked me out.
That freaks
Is
me
that
out,
you
too.
guys took a step back and you said, when we really listened to what they were saying, it sounds like they were investigating us.
Oh, at the that
At the
took
Opera
me
House.
editing that episode to go, wait a minute.
Right.
This little boy is saying, "Ooh, that's scary," and they're asking us questions. Who was actually doing the because the place hadn't been investigated before? Maybe they were the ones investigating
The
us.
hunter becomes the hunted.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though.
And again, also because they probably hadn't been communicated with, because this is something that happens, there's the possibility they don't know what plane of existence they're on. And this kind of, I think, goes back to then the conversation about the sense of time, because it's also that sense of existence which you've run into where you're speaking to a spirit who's giving, like, I'm remembering in the Octagon Hall. Can you tell that I've fallen in love with your show and everything that you do? I don't know if you figured that out yet.
I love it.
But in Octagon Hall,
I'm blushing.
I honestly, I'm hoping that after we're done doing our live portion, that you'll take a couple minutes to chat afterwards, because I do have some legitimate questions, and it's just one of
Like
these
you
things
can't
that
say on air, fanboy Justin.
no, it's not that. Again, I know you're married, so am I. Unless he and she's good with that whole thing. I don't know.
She is watching, isn't she?
But yeah, she was. I don't know if she still is. But yes, fanboy Justin, indeed. Just because, again, I loved your approach of, and the thing that, because something that you say so frequently in the show, I promise, I know I'm going off on tangents, forgive me, is, and it's something that I, as a musician and as an artist, someone had mentioned this earlier in our comments, but in 2006, this is my wife, yes. In 2006.
I love her.
In 2006, I was diagnosed with MS, and that ended my opera career. And so, well, I had to kind of reassess what it is that I loved about music, and the thing that I love is telling the story. And the thing that you bring to all of these spirits, on top of love, light, peace, and positivity, is the fact that this is your opportunity to share with me your story, so that way you get to put out there what it is that you wanted to know, or what you wanted the world to know about you. And I just find that so powerful.
You're
And
making
again, there
me
was another
cry
point.
over here. You're my favorite
No,
person
it's-
in the world.
It's just
Never done this to a
You
guest
get
before.
me.
and that's the thing is, I think that there's so many people that realize that, or don't realize that we need that in life. And here you are, someone that has extended that to what is after what we know. And I think that's so cool, and I think that's the reason why I'm fanboying so hard, because I'm like,
It's
wow,
a very
this,
honest approach. It really is. You're not
Yeah.
like just trying to scare for the sake of scaring. You're being very honest and genuine about the
It's
whole
sincere.
ordeal. But it is. It
it's
is.
sincere.
And if you want to feel like Justin, anyone watching, pick up this book.
Oh, God, pick up the book. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Run, do not walk. I'm also going to put up, oh gosh, why is my computer's doing crazy stuff?
I'll hold it up.
At your house now.
See, that's it. No, oh, here it is. There we go. I'd
rather
rather
talk
talk
to-
to dead people.
My wife loved the title too. She said if she wrote a book, that would be hers as well. Her title.
Well, I'm not a people person generally. People are generally disappointing in real life, the ones that breathe. So I would rather talk to dead people 9 times out of 10.
Wow. I got to tell you, because of what you do on the side at the conventions, I totally get that even more.
It's my job that made me hate people so much.
Oh God. I used to, my friend, I have a comedian actor friend who did a few like cult films. So I booked him at a few conventions to do autograph signings, and we hang out together, and mostly people watch. And some of the people that came up to the table are fucking mental.
Yeah,
Just
well,
people- I love them.
As photo ops, I'm in a position where I have to tell people what to do. And especially on the East Coast, people don't like that one single bit. So there's a lot of mommy voice being used with breathing people on the East Coast when Kitsie's working.
You're using it right now.
No, that wasn't even the mommy voice.
Yeah, that's mommy point. That was it. She's just getting it, tracked into where the destination's going to be. That's all.
Do you have a memorable photo op story that you could share?
Oh my gosh, so many.
Weird.
So the first time I shot photos of Chris Evans, because I was a little blown away at this huge A-lister walking into my photo op room, and I am not a Captain America fan. We walked in and it's like, hey, he did. I liked him better as Johnny Storm, so I hold that against him. I am a nerd as well. But he walked into the room, and I rarely lose my shit when I meet these celebrities anymore. I've been doing it for a very long time. And I did have a crush on Johnny Storm. I'm not going to lie. And he walks in the room, and I'm shaking his hand. And I'm like, well, I'm a Thor girl. So I walked out of the room. So a year later, 6 months later in Philly, he walks into the photo op room, and he's like, your boy Thor's here. So he didn't forget, and I was really hoping that he would. Chris is
funny.
one of the most amazing humans I've ever met
He
in my
looks
life.
like a genuinely nice guy.
And he's snarky and sarcastic, and he is Johnny Storm. So yay.
That's so good.
Oh, I love it.
So you never had any fans who were out of control?
Oh, yeah. Actually, New Jersey. That's where you guys are at. I was working a Walking Dead convention. And so I normally would shoot Norman Reedus. It was just what I did because I have to use the mommy voice a lot when it comes to Mr. Reedus. And I'd finally let my daughter shoot him because she's one of the photographers as well. My children are grown, by the way, except for Anna. And so I'm like, okay, you can shoot Uncle Norman. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. And then some bitch walks up to him, howls, like a wolf and bites him. I'm not even kidding you right now.
Oh my
Bit him
God.
in the chest. I wasn't there, but my daughter said
Oh
Norman
my
walked up
God.
towards her, looking down his shirt, go, "That bitch just bit me." So yeah,
What else can you
Norman's
say?
fans are a little intense. I do love them. There are
Yikes.
some amazing ones, and there are some like that woman.
Wow. I never got a picture with them, but it was before Walking Dead. I smoked with the Boondock Saints
Oh, those are my
outside.
boys.
They were so cool. After The Walking Dead, I was like, fuck, I wish I got a picture. I could have fanboyed a little bit and showed off on social media. Look, I have a picture of the celebrity.
You can just Photoshop your face into one of my pictures with Norman.
Oh, you've got some great on your Facebook. You have some great celebrity photo ops.
Oh yeah.
So
You
I
look
do
like you're
this
just having
thing
a
called
blast with them.
the awkward prom pose.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have one
It's-
with one of my childhood heroes. Yes,
Who?
Jerry the King
Yeah,
Lawler.
I've done them with. Oh my! So my awkward prom photos with the WWE end up on lists of like worst fan experiences. I'm like, no, this was a face I tried to make. You guys don't even get this. So yeah, I started it with I think it was John Schneider at a show, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking funny. So it's really hard to explain to the Brits though what a prom is. So I'm like, it's like a dance we go to. It's like kind of like a wedding pose, but not really. And I've had some really amazing ones for sure.
Oh, wait. John Schneider's not British. Oh, Lulu Lounge said we have proms.
They all tell me they don't.
They just don't want to
Liars.
do the prom pose with you.
Apparently
Like,
not. Tom Hiddleston.
Oh,
Whatever.
I know. I was homeschooled. Mommy didn't want to prom.
She didn't want to stand pretty with me.
They imported the
Yeah.
idea. Oh, Kitsie, thank you so much for being part of this show.
Oh, thank
You
you
are
guys
just
so
a
much for
gem.
having me. I had a little bit too much fun. Thanks for letting me be my snarky, swearing, normal self that I normally am.
Oh,
So-
it's been a delight.
So I have one more question for you before we part ways and we do the last plugging and then we sign off for the night. And that is in season 3, episode 2, you guys made a joke that that first spirit that you saw, that first entity that you saw at the back of the hall, that they were the first guest at your live show. Have you guys ever considered doing a live show, or have you ever considered doing a live show where you on stage shared investigative footage and then you talk with do a Q&A with the crowd? I think that would be awesome.
No, but this is the perfect opportunity to plug my podcast called Oddity Files, where I do take it live on the road from time to time.
Yes.
When Clayton was doing the podcast with me, we both worked for the photo ops company, and Clayton and I would do live podcasts at a lot of these Comic Cons and things. So yes, that really was our first live show. We ended up doing another one of the podcast at Horror Hound in Cincinnati, which is a great show. And then Carter and I did like a little live thing where we revealed, season 3 clips and things like that. Excuse me,
Very
before it was released at Flashback Weekend in Chicago, which is another horror convention.
So cool. Well, folks,
That really is.
folks that are watching, these are flow.page / Kitsie Duncan. That's where you can find everything Kitsie Duncan.
I love the name Kitsie. Is that short for anything?
My name is Christina, but my aunt used to call me Kitsie. And when I was trying to do the whole Scream Queen thing before I realized I couldn't act, I decided I needed a name that would make me stand out. And my aunt used to call me Kitsie. And come to find out there are other people called Kitsie. There's even a Barbie named Kitsie. What the hell?
You just started the trend. That's all.
Apparently, it's what I do.
You're known as a screen queen in the Monster magazine, though.
I did. I won a contest. One of the judges was Bridget Marquardt, who has a paranormal podcast now as well. But I was the ultimate fangirl of the Girls Next Door when the three girls were living with Hugh Hefner. I went
Yes.
just to meet her. And then I entered this little competition where you're supposed to scream when Michael Myers comes at you with a knife, and she liked my screams. So.
Oh, that's
Nice.
wonderful. Before we go, we have one more thing to do, Justin.
What is that?
Let's say you're ghost hunting with Kitsie and you come across the ghost of Freddie Mercury and he says, "Oh, I hear you can do my voice."
I would say
And
no, I can't.
you're not getting out of here until I hear it.
I'd say no, sir, I cannot do your voice, but I'll happily sing a song for you if you want. So
Praise God, I was waiting.
so okay, here I'm gonna actually move the microphone over to the piano because actually I do a show on Fridays called Freddie Friday, and we do the music of Queen, and I sing some songs, and I talk with members of my band actually.
Oh,
and
fun.
and we talk about our road to becoming musicians and all of that, and so I have some stuff here. Let's see. I'll try to pick an easy one. Yeah, and by pick an easy one, I meant let's pick a hard one. So I'll do the first verse of this song because it's I think it might be a little apropos to our guest and the wonderful conversation that we had today.
Okay. Come at me, bro.
Empty spaces, what are we living for? Abandoned places, I guess we know the score. On and on, does anybody know what we are looking for? Another hero, another mindless crime behind the curtain in the pantomime. Hold the line. Does anybody want to take it anymore? The show must go on. The show must go on. Yeah. Inside my heart is breaking. My makeup may be flaking, but my smile still stays on. There you go.
Dude,
Holy shit, Justin.
that was
Wow.
amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Usually
so
I
much,
get
Kitsie.
embarrassed when people sing like live for me like that, but that was fucking awesome. Well done.
It really was.
Thank you. This has
Holy
been so
shit.
much fun. Speaking of fucking awesome, Kitsie, you have just been so much fun to talk to. This has been, first off, your show is awesome. Again, folks, if you are unfamiliar, Oddity Files, run, do not walk. It is a great show. You can catch it on Prime. You can catch it on YouTube. Follow the link below, flow.page/KitsieDuncan, and you can see all things Kitsie Duncan. Like I said, run, do not walk. You can check out her new book that was just released this past fall, if memory
It is a
serves me
fun,
correctly.
easy read. I read it in one sitting. It's a blast, and it really sums up everything we talked about. She's very human. She writes like she talks. It's great.
I love it.
Yeah,
love
that
it.
seems to be, it's very conversational. I think I take that as a
yeah.
compliment.
I mean that as a compliment. I really meant that as a compliment. Yes.
And hitting some of these last minute love.
And I can't wait for you to finish season 3 because that last episode, dude, it's going to blow your mind. It really is.
I cannot wait. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the night. I'm going to leave here after we sign off and after we're done talking, Kitsie, because again, if you're okay to hang a little bit, I understand we all have lives too. So if that's not the case, then I will, Grubhub you dinner another night and we'll just hang out. But just again, this has been just so much fun. But I know I'm going to be binging the rest of it. I'm on episode 2, and I think it's 8 episodes. Is that correct?
6.
6. Okay, that's even better. So that's only, 4 more hours? I don't need to sleep. Fuck it. So... my wife says, have her back on the show. She's cool. I concur. She's the Magda Gerber of paranormal investigators.
Who is Magda Gerber?
So my wife is a nanny, if you couldn't tell by the name. She subscribes to a child rearing practice called RIE, Resources for Infant Educarers. And Magda Gerber was the founder of this philosophy, and essentially is even infants, you approach them with empathy and caring and no judgment, that they themselves are people and just trying to communicate, and you should respect them as that, even as infants.
That's genius.
So, yeah.
Where was that when I was raising my kids? Damn it. I fucked up.
So to say that, my wife holds you in very, very high regard because Magda Gerber is like on her Mount Rushmore. It's maybe 2 faces, and that's one of them. And yes, Nanny, she's plugging the RIE.org if you want to learn more about that, about how, again, just another way of thinking about how, we can treat not just infants, but honestly, if you start with infants, this is how we should be treating everyone, period. No matter what age they are.
The world needs it so bad right now.
How about it, right? So, is it okay, Jason, if I do the rundown of all of our stuff before we head out?
You've been talking the whole time. I mean, I don't understand. I'm just real quick. I'm gonna next Wednesday we're doing our show at 11:30 in the morning with that I'll be doing more of the talking. And our guest is comedian Carmen Lynch, co-host of the Human Centipede, and our other guest at the same time will be Ashley Williams, who was the middle centipede of the centipede in the Human Centipede, and she'll be talking about that experience, which I can't wait to question. I have so many questions about that movie after all these years.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, do the world a favor and take me off the big screen.
see you break my stones. You say you're talking the whole time.
I love you. You stole it. You were wonderful.
I just noticed that in the corner, it's your name. I'm sorry. So
yeah, but we're a team.
It's your show.
I always say we should be Hi, I'm Jason and Justin. And you have a great show on Twitch, Justin Gonzalez Tenor. Follow him.
Oh, thank you so much.
And no, you were taking over and you were fucking great. Kitsie, you were wonderful as well, but this was really Justin's show.
It was Justin's show, literally.
I love this one, maybe. I mean, but the other week when it was Simon Bamford and Barbie Wilde from the Hellraiser movie, that was your show, and I was just quietly fanboy.
It's a give and take. We're equal here.
Well, speaking of give and take, those of you watching, we would love if you would just give us a follow, and we will take that love and continue to build a wonderful show for you. And if you want to learn more about shows that we're doing, if you want to know ahead of time, because Twitch doesn't allow us to kind of, bait you as to what the next shows are going to be, please follow us on Facebook. So that way you can see the information that we have disseminated. Also, if you want to check out some of our finished products or finished episodes as they come out, check out youtube.com/user/SuperJpo711. Also, please be sure to check out our parent channel, Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. That is the show that Jason and I were on a couple of their shows.
Look at the puppet.
I think now you owe her at least a drink. I mean, my goodness. But be sure to check out on Sundays on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling, The Beacon of Insignificance. You guys can watch a bunch of our funny friends, our comedian friends. We talk, we hang out, we play games, and you even have an opportunity to win some money. And speaking of money, if you would like to see us continue to do what it is that we do, please pop on over to our digital tip jar, and again, anything that you give us, knock it off. I don't even oh my goodness, this is why we can't have nice things. We're gonna ask her to come back and she's gonna say, that was the puppet show, right? No thanks.
I'm the one that's goading him on. So,
And speaking of goading him on, please support the wonderful Kitsie Duncan. Thank you so much for being on our show. Go to flow.page/KitsieDuncan for all things Kitsie Duncan. This has been so much fun. Jason, thank you for again inviting me on the show and having me be a part of this, because if it weren't for you, I would not have had the opportunity to meet so many amazing people. And Kitsie has just been added to the roster for sure.
She's wonderful.
oh, stop.
Bye, Lulu Lounge. Have a great night. Go to bed. It's late in England. You've got to be up to teach the children in the morning.
Ah,
Yeah.
bah.
Screw it. She's actually a gem. But yeah, wow! I just made it weird. It's got really quiet.
I'm waiting for you to sign off so I can hit our commercial.
All right. Thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Kitsie. You're a gem. Justin, you're a gem. Everybody's just so gem-like tonight. My little puppet. And I'm so used to saying "get home safe" on stage, but I'm not doing that here. If you're driving and listening to this, get home safe. If not, fuck off. Thank you so much.